Good morning, Malacañang Press Corps. Welcome sa regular press briefing ni Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Today is very special. We're featuring one of the truly great statesmen of the nation. We're pleased to have today former Senate President Aquilino Nene Pimentel. He will be sharing with us the salient points on federalism, and this serves as the kickoff for a series of features that we'll be having regarding federalism, which should take about the next several weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, he's known also as the father of the Local Government Code for being the principal author of Republic Act number 7160. Ladies and gentlemen of the Malacañang Press Corps, it gives us great pleasure to welcome Senator Nene Pimentel.
Okay na ba ito? Thank you very much, Secretary, and let me go straight to the point. Our proposal for the adoption of the federal system is designed to disperse power, mainly from the central government to the various federal states and therefore also to the local governments composing the federal state. Ilan ang federal states na gusto natin gawin? 12. 5 sa Luzon, 4 sa Visayas, 3 sa Mindanao. Northern Luzon, Central Luzon, Cordilleras, Bicol, at saka Southern Tagalog for Luzon. What about Metro Manila? Metro Manila parang will not be converted into a federal state, pero magiging capital ng federal state. Tulad ng Washington DC, hindi naman federal state ang Washington DC or New Delhi in India or Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. So, pagdating sa Visayas, 4 din. Eastern Visayas, Central Visayas, Western Visayas, and the provinces of Mindoro, Palawan, Romblon, at saka Marinduque. Pagdating sa Mindanao, 3. Southern Mindanao, Northern Mindanao, Southern Mindanao, and Bangsamoro. Very important, yung Bangsamoro. Because primarily, the federalization of the country will dissipate the causes of Muslim unrest and speed up the development of the country. So basically yun. Anong mangyari sa presidente? Elected nationally pa rin. Vice Presidente, elected nationally pa rin. Mga senador, by federal state na. Imbes national, federal state na. Ilan ang proposal natin, senador? 6. So if there are 12 federal states, 76 plus Kuampa, Metro Manila, so aabutin ng 80, sabihin, masyado marami yun. But I will show you the next, at the slide that Clarice will present to you, that there are 10 federal state nations in the world with lesser population pero mas marami ang kanilang senador. So you keep note of that so that you will have a guide about what we are saying. It's not the number that really counts. It's the thing that the people must be represented fully. Sapagkat yung 24 ng mga senador ngayon, tingnan mo ang nangyari sa nakalipas na halalan. Sinong napiling senador? Franklin Drilon lamang, na taga Visayas, walang iba. Wala taga Eastern Visayas, wala taga Central Visayas, wala taga Mindoro, Palawan. Sa Mindanao, 3 lang ang senador doon. Si Mig Subere, ayaw ko kilala ba niyo si Coco Pimentel, at saka yung pangatlo, si pangalan nito, Pacquiao. But Coco Pimentel and Mig Subere come from northern Mindanao. Then Mig Subere only from South Cotabato, if I'm not mistaken. The rest of Mindanao, wala pong representation sa Senado. That is why it's better na they should be elected by federal state. What about the congressmen and the local government? Pareho lang, no change. So basically, yun na po ang gusto kong may share sa inyo. And then I'm open to any questions.
All right. Open to questions, please.
Any questions, MPC, about federalism? Joseph Morong.
Sir, for both, no? Good morning, sir. Na yung pong commission that the President is thinking of creating, ang sabi may mga names na po, would you be able to reveal the names that the President has for the position, for the 25 members of the commission that will study our shift to federalism?
Hindi ko ganong, at 83, medyo bingi na ako, ha? I want you to know that. So I have to, Oo. Now, regarding the 25-man commission, wala naman akong official communication except what my secretary here would tell me. Pero I am ready to serve in whatever capacity. Kung saan ako makakatulong, I will do that. Total, sabi niya pa, hangtod sa ngilit sa lubnganan until the graveside, we should devote our time to help our people.
So were you offered the chairmanship of the commission?
Were you offered the chairmanship? Were you offered the chairmanship?
No, not really. I mean, yun naman ay nasa kamay ng Pangulo yun. Let him decide that. What is more important is that yung mga tao na mapili niya, makakatulong. That's the most important thing. It's not the position.
Question, MPC? Laila Salaveria?
Good morning, Senator Pimentel. Sir, do you have a timeline on when you intend to complete all this?
A time frame? Well, actually, I heard from the President's pronouncements lang, I have not talked with him personally, that he wants this done originally within the first 2 years of his presidency. So that pagkatapos on the third year, implementation na. Pero mukhang medyo mahirap siguro yung time frame na yun because we have already spent 1 year na, di ba? And then, so palagay ko, abutin pa ng 3 taon sa kanyang term limit. At ang ayaw ko lang doon sa sinasabi ng Pangulo, sabi niya, he will resign after that. Huwag siyang mag-resign. He should stay on and implement it para makita ng tao may maganda pala talaga ito. And it will take a man who believes in it para maisulong. Otherwise, kung sino-sino lang dyan ang mag-implement, baka wala sa puso nila.
Sir, to shift to federal government, we will need to change the Constitution. Sir, are you concerned that, because when we open the Constitution to changes, other provisions could also be amended. So are you concerned that this could complicate the process?
Now, if I got your question right, number one, the President's parang thrust ngayon, iwan na sa Constituent Assembly yung pagbabago ng saligang batas. Now, yung iba nangangamba na maraming magandang provision sa old Constitution, baka madamay. Well, let us make it clear na as far as I'm concerned, ang gusto kong may pasok yung struktura ng federalismo. Kung merong additional benefits na gusto ni President Digong maisingit for the good of the country, why not? Pero yung mga good provisions dyan, for example, sabihin na natin yung Commission on Elections, yung ibang mga commission dyan who are performing their duty, yan, ayun. But most of what's going to happen will depend on the intention of the President because he is the guiding principle, you might say, on this effort to revise the Constitution.
Thank you.
MPC questions? Joseph?
So with regard to the BBL and the MILF, no?
Yes.
The BBL envisions a specific type of regional government, no? In terms of relationship with the central and then the autonomous region. Yung pong features ng BBL proposed regional government, how are this different from the federal states?
All right. Now, first of all, I want it very clearly understood that from what I hear of the President's pronouncement in that regard is that the BBL proposal will be taken up, will be subsumed in the deliberation for the adoption of the federal system. That's what I heard. Now, going to your second point, how different would that be from our proposal? Number one, my concern about the BBL is the fact that it actually tends to favor only one of the major units or armed groups in Mindanao challenging the government, and that is the MILF. I'm speaking very frankly, huh? And then secondly, if you look at the actual provisions, what they want to do is when the Bangsamoro entity is established, they will elect only the congressional representatives, hindi na yung mga executive leaders. Palagay ko mahirapan sila doon because the people want to elect their own leaders. Hindi po pwede na, ito lang ha, diyan lang kayo, hanggang dito lang kayo because sanay na tayo na we elect all the way. In other words, you are not a parliamentary kind of government where you elect only members of the legislature and the legislature elects the executive department. So, yun ang aking punto dyan. That, itong mga proposal of the BBL for the dissipation of the Muslim unrest in Mindanao will be totally adopted by the federal system, but there will be modifications in the kind of, you might say, rights that will be accorded to the Muslim people. For example, I want this very clear. The proposal of the BBL will in effect adopt the practices of the Middle East about Sharia to be adopted in the proposed Bangsamoro entity. But there are certain practices of the Sharia in the Middle East that cannot be accepted here. For example, yung babae mabuntisan ng hindi asawa niya, binabato. That's allowed by the Sharia there. We cannot accept that because that would be cruel and unusual punishment, di ba? Di ba yung sinasabi pa na yung mga magnanakaw, putulan ng kamay. Sa isip ko, naku, ang daming mga walang kamay, paigiligi doon sa ibang mga ahensya ng gobyerno. But kidding aside, the thing is we cannot allow that to happen because that would be cruel and unusual punishment prohibited by the Constitution. Therefore, certain aspects of the Sharia, particularly the right of the Muslim people to settle their own differences, dapat fully acceptable yan sa atin. Basta, ang mag-asunto, for example, Muslim versus Muslim, Sharia will apply. Kung Kristiyano versus Muslim, national law will apply. Lumad versus Muslim, national law will apply.
Sir, do I take it to mean the BBL or the Bangsamoro entity as proposed in the BBL may run into conflict with our federal state concept?
Well, as a matter of fact, if you look at it now, we are not yet a federal state.
Correct, sir.
Meron ng kaibahan because they want to establish a federal system in that particular part of the country, which will be very awkward, to say the least, that we have a national, you might say, system where we are following a presidential type of government, form of government, and yet it would now allow, you know, a portion of that, of our state to be run like a federal, like a parliamentary entity. Hindi po siguro maganda.
Last na lang, sir. Pasensya na. Do we not run the risk of not complying with the CAB? Given na medyo may fundamental differences between the concept of a regional, Bangsamoro regional entity and supposing we go to federalism?
Well, if the intention is fully explained to our Muslim brethren, I think they will accept it. And that is my initial feeling, having talked with practically all the non-Muslim rebels in this country, from Nur Miswari to Salamat Hashim when he was still alive, and Haji Murad and all these people. They are amenable to, you know, a reasonable formula. They are not insisting on something that is not acceptable to the rest of the people.
Okay, so speaking of Nur Miswari, and the president is pushing talaga federalism. Aside from those president, the government, the country should be needing a very good Mindanao leaders
Naku, hindi ko na.
about
Nagbabounce. Well, we already have a very good leader from Mindanao. So, in other words, whether we shift to a federal system or not, we depend to a large extent, on the present leadership of President Digong to push forward this kind of an idea. That's exactly why I said earlier na kung ma-adapt na itong federal system within the first 3 years of his incumbency, huwag siyang mag-resign. That's what I'm saying. He should go ahead and implement this process so that the people will say na ayos pala.
Okay, MPC, question about federalism. P, federalism. Pia, other issue na.
Good morning, sir. Sir, are you open to answering questions about another issue? Specifically, sir, the suggestion of the president for Congress to craft a law that would grant immunity to the Marcoses in exchange for the return of some of their wealth.
Marcos. You're
yeah.
talking now about the Marcos wealth?
Yes. Sir,
Okay.
could you just enlighten us on what the president might have meant by this?
Yes. Now, that alone, that the president wants a law to be adopted, is a sign that he does not want to decide it on his own. Because otherwise, why will he? He's already in power. And our people should realize that considering the realities of politics, I am sure that I may, for example, must have supported President Digong during during his running for the presidency. But even that, you can see the hesitancy of the president to say, oh, I will decide this thing on my own. Mas maganda na mayroon talagang batas tungkol dyan. And may dagdag ko na rin lang sapagkat when I was chairman of the Blue Ribbon Committee several years ago, before you were born, we were already talking about this return of the Marcos wealth. And what I wanted really to do is to be able to pinpoint the exact location of the different depository banks of the Marcoses. Sapagkat ang nangyari noong when I was chairman of the Blue Ribbon, may information kami na, oy, may deposito dito sa bangkong ito. Puntahan namin yung bangko, wala na, nakalipat na sa iba. So unless we are certain just exactly what is the full amount of the Marcos wealth that we are talking about, mahirapan siguro na piecemeal ang trust of the government because that will not put a closure to the whole issue.
Sir, to what extent would this law affect the current cases against the Marcoses?
Well, number one, yung law na that you mentioned, that to my mind is necessary. Okay. Now, who's going to implement that law? And the president, I think we have full trust in his capacity to do that. And if for example, he is hesitant to do it, then I don't know what is the status of PCGG now. I really have no idea. Because the PCGG was created precisely to recover the Marcos wealth. At kung mapagtiwalaan pa ni President Digong yung mga namamahala sa PCGG, then probably the better way would be for them to handle it. Kung hindi na itong mga taong ito does not have his confidence, then he is, as president, he has the right to appoint the new members of that body who can really recover the Marcos wealth for the benefit of the people.
Sir, can you just confirm if granting immunity would require the Marcoses to admit any guilt before this could happen?
Well, yung tungkol sa immunity, that will depend on the outcome of the negotiation for the return of the Marcos wealth. Because actually, if you look at it, yung pagsauli ng hidden wealth ng mga Marcoses, that will cover only the civil aspect of the cases. Di ba, you know very well that under our law, you can settle the civil aspects. Pero yung criminal aspect, ibang usapan yun, depende sa prueba. So if sauli nila yung pera and then there is a general amnesty plan for them, that can be done. It can be done.
Okay. Joseph Morong?
So when the president said that that there's a law required for the negotiations, no, is he not envisioning? Is he not thinking of amnesty?
Well, not really at that particular point because meaning to say, inak mo muna yung law kung anong sasabihin ng batas tungkol sa recovery, that will govern the process of recovery. But the general power of the president to grant pardons is not affected by that. No,
Correct, sir.
no. It depends on him.
But supposing, sir, let's assume that amnesty yung pinag-uusapan. Do you think that the Marcoses should return the wealth and apologize? Are you amenable to the concept of them returning their loot?
Number one, the return of the loot of the Marcoses must be done in order to assuage the people that meron ng a certain degree of regret, even if it is not verbally expressed. But at the same time, yung policy arising from that will have to be determined by the president with his with congressional support. Kasi hindi naman po pwede na siya lang din ang mag-decide. That's why he said a law has to be enacted. So, and in the enactment of the law, please remember that the enactment of laws does not depend only on the lawmakers. Ang mga taong bayan must be able to participate there. How? Through the public hearings of the committees being created for that purpose. So, it will be a national process. It will not be an isolated decision, you might say, by the president.
So second part of my question, should they be granted amnesty?
Should be what?
Should they be granted amnesty, sir?
That will depend on, I have no specific, answer to that. That will depend on the circumstances as they arise.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Okay, MPC questions? Okay. Maraming salamat po, former Senator Aquilino Pimentel, Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella.
A few notes before we proceed with the Q&A. Regarding the awarding of the Mimaropa Cups, we welcome the news that PNP Mimaropa's one-time, big-time operations recorded 233 arrests in just one day with no deaths reported. Regarding Reynaldo de Guzman, it is with profound dismay that we regard the disturbing death of 14-year-old Reynaldo de Guzman. The National Bureau of Investigation has already been ordered to conduct a thorough investigation and case build-up over the killing of the young boy Reynaldo. We call on authorities to bring the perpetrators of this suspicious crime to justice. Regarding the DACA termination, the Department of Foreign Affairs, through our embassy and consular officials and staff, is closely coordinating with the members of the Filipino community in the United States following President Donald Trump's announcement that he would revoke the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals DACA program, allowing undocumented immigrant children to stay legally in the U.S. We will provide assistance through the use of the Assistance to Nationals Fund and the Legal Assistance Fund to Filipinos who may end up getting deported as a result of Washington's decision. On Vice Mayor Duterte and Atty. Carpio's appearance at the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. Today's appearance of Davao City Vice Mayor Paolo Duterte and Atty. Manasseh Carpio before the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee demonstrates that both gentlemen are willing and ready to face malicious allegations intend to impugn their character and credibility. The President has said in numerous occasions that he would not interfere, and he believes that both Vice Mayor Duterte and Atty. Carpio can hold their own at the Senate. Also, as of 7 p.m., September 5, 2017, enemies killed 649, or an increase of 8. No change for civilians killed nor rescued. No change for firearms recovered. Buildings cleared, 8. And as of September 4, another 8. Regarding the status of cash donations, for the Marawi AFP casualties, we have 38,098,853 and 23 centavos. Marawi IDPs, 963 and 4,500. Regarding the Mabilogs leaving the Philippines, as per verification from the Bureau of Immigration, Mayor Jed Patrick Mabilog left on 31st of August 2017, bound for Narita on board flight PR 428, while his wife, under the name of Maria Victoria Mabilog, a Canadian citizen, departed on the same day, also bound for Narita, but on a different flight, PR 432. All right. A short statement from the DOJ. The DOJ is still verifying the reports regarding the members out of the country. The DOJ is now requesting some time to confirm the report regarding the Mabilogs. Okay, regarding the Mabilogs. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, apologies.
Okay. Question on Alvin Baltasar. Microphone, Joseph. Thank you.
Yusek Abela, magandang umaga po. Sir,
Sir.
good morning, Yusek. Sir, walang activity yata si Pangulo ngayong araw na ito. Nanonood po ba siya ng pangyayari sa Senate as of this moment?
Hindi ko masabi, pero he is not in Manila. I believe he's in Davao. Yes.
Pero are you aware na may idea ba kayo kung hindi man siya nakatutok pero minomonitor niya kahit pa paano yung event?
I'm sure he is always on top of all events. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Question, Ace Romero, follow-up ba yan o other issue? Okay, other issue.
Yusek, regarding the death of De Guzman, it happened months after President Duterte suspended Tokhang because of the death of the Korean inside Camp Crame.
Yes.
Does the palace think it's about time that the PNP re-examine its policies or the way it handles the drug war anew because of recent events?
I believe they all are in the process of rethinking everything.
But does the palace condemn what happened to...
I just made a
because
statement.
You used the word dismayed. Does the palace condemn this incident?
I believe it delivers the same intention.
Okay. But then we remember the president saying, I think last year, that the policemen, the soldiers are not in the business of producing mummies. Hindi sila naglalagay ng packaging tape sa mukha.
That's right.
And then there are claims now that the policemen are responsible for the death of De Guzman. Does the president still hold that view that policemen are not involved in these kinds of torture?
Let's put it this way. The whole matter is under investigation. In fact, those details that you mentioned are truly suspect. However, we cannot go into any speculation at this stage. It must be properly investigated. And the assurance is there will be no whitewash.
Thank you, Yusek.
Okay, on Reynaldo, Laila Salavere. Other issue? Wala nang follow-up sa Reynaldo de Guzman? Okay, Laila Salaver. Joseph Moro.
Yes, sir. In 1 month's time, we have 3 young persons being killed by police. Si Kian, and then we have si Carl, and then we have Rinaldo.
Yes.
Are we not worried that these things are happening?
We're very concerned.
How do we stop this from happening?
Let's leave it to the proper agencies to regard it, to address the matter.
Okay,
Thank you.
follow-up, Mia?
So earlier you mentioned that we are in the process of rethinking everything. Could I just clarify, what are you rethinking, and what would be the outcome of this? Have there been any concrete discussions on actually doing over the whole drug war?
For example, the fact that the PNP is being investigated, that there are Senate hearings, just indicates that actually the whole nation is in the process of rethinking the way we do things, and so that is part now of entire restructuring and renewing, and actually falls within the ambit of the president's campaign, that there should be lesser crime, lesser corruption, and lesser also addressing illegal drugs. In other words, it's not just one isolated event; it's a whole process that we're undergoing, that we can see that there is a rethinking, a major rethinking going on.
Is Malacañang now open to calls from citizens that a commission or a task force focused on EJ case be created so that they can run after these cases, precisely because you mentioned they are no longer isolated cases?
The Malacañang is open to all significant and actually workable solutions.
Okay, thank you. Chris Jose?
Sir, isa lang po.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
think it's about time na maibalik na po yung curfew hour para po ma-lessen yung mga kabataan, yung mga minors na nasasangkot sa ito?
I think that, well, we do have concerns, and we would like to avoid all of these things, especially regarding minors. I believe that still goes back to the LGUs. Okay, so that will have to be worked out.
Joseph.
Sir, may call po yung ilang senators, particularly si Senator Pangilinan, to stop that war on drugs, or Tokang. What's Malacañang's thoughts on it? May call po from some senators, si Senator Pangilinan in particular, to stop the drug war, the Tokang. What do you think of it?
I think those are two different things. No, one, the campaign against drugs, illegal drugs, is something that the president is entirely committed his entire administration. However, the manner in which these things are carried out need to really be re-examined.
Okay, last question. Laila Salaveria.
Sir, good morning. The
Yes.
PNP chief said that he needs the president's permission before releasing police reports on the killing of suspects in operations. Sir, what's the president's reason for requiring his permission?
I don't think it's permission that was indicated. I think it's just for the president to see what is being put out there. Although officially there is no, for example, there's no actually written policy regarding that as far as the Office of the Executive Secretary is concerned. However, the PNP chief has taken it as a standard procedure that the president, and which is valid for the president to see what he actually reports on.
But, sir, so will the president allow the PNP to have other agencies access to these reports?
Which?
To allow the Senate, for instance, to access these police reports? Will the president allow the PNP?
I'm assuming I may be assuming here, but as far as I know, that is going to be a call of as far as I can say, that's going to be a call of they may request, any agency may request access to the PNP.
Yes, but the PNP is saying that he needs the permission of the president.
It's not permission. I think it's just how would I put it? He didn't use the word permission. He just said that, I think it just as if like a heads up.
A heads up. So we can expect the PNP to release these reports.
That will be their policy. That will have to be their call to release or not release. Okay.
Thank you, Laila. Last two questions, Hannah, then Pao. Ace Romero.
Morning, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, ang members po na Makabayan Bloc, i-reassess po daw nila kung pagpapatuloy po daw nila ang pagsuporta sa mga advocacy ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Ano po yung masasabi ng Palace at kung may nag-express na rin po ba dun sa mga natitira ng mga progressive members sa cabinet po na magpapatuloy pa po sila to work with the President or mag-resign po ba sa position after nung ilang sa mga kasama nila ay na-reject po sa CA?
Tatlo po yung tanong nyo. O, isa-isa po na.
Sorry. One at a time, sir.
Binilang yun. Una-una, whatever parties are out there, they may express their own belief, disbelief, or participation, non-participation, support, or non-support. We live in a democracy. However, regarding the senators, not the senators, the cabinet members who are labeled progressive, although we don't, actually there's no such perception. I mean, there's no label actually that says that. But it's going to be their call if they resign or not resign. But like for example, everything has, although it's quite regrettable that the Rainbow Cabinet, that people of opposing beliefs are not there, but because it would really add to the richness of the dialogue.
Sir, is the President kinoconsider ba ng Pangulo na i-reappoint like si Mariano po?
Wala po tayong ano dyan. I think it's only the second.
Yes, sir.
Second.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir, pero may OIC na daw po ba sa DAR ngayon?
OIC po ng DAR.
OIC.
We can check. Wala pa po.
Okay, thank you. Follow-up, Micah. Follow-up muna, Maricel Halili.
Sir, just to follow up on the decision of CA on Secretary Mariano.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, following yung magkakasunod na pagkaka-reject doon sa mga progressive members of the cabinet, does it have something to do with the issues on NPA?
Well, those are not the reasons raised during the statements made by the Commission on Appointments. They simply pointed out that there were certain factors that led to their being rejected by the COA. It did not make reference to NPA or to the movement of the CNN. I mean, Communist Party of the Philippines, NPA, blah, blah, blah.
But how about the palace or allegations, the support given by Secretary Mariano to armed struggles?
Well, we respect the decision of the CA.
But if the palace, sir, do you...
We cannot speculate on the matter. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, Laila?
Sir, how would you describe the status of the administration's relationship with the left? Does the administration still consider them as allies?
How do you put it? It's complicated. No, I mean, I'm just, the president continues to be open. And I believe, they continues to be open. However, there must be an agreement on both sides. When you say left, that's a very broad label covering just about everybody, from the cabinet secretaries to all the way to those who are in the field. So, if we are going to work together, then there must be some form of agreement. And apparently at this stage, it's a little bit, in the words of Mr. Moron, complicated.
So how about in your own words?
Coming in, yes. My own words, complicated.
Okay, thank you. Last question, Ace Romero.
Yusek, regarding the ongoing Senate hearing on smuggling, Senator Trillanes tagged Davao City Vice Mayor Paulo Duterte as a member of a drug triad. What is the palace statement on this?
It's pretty drastic.
So it's not true.
No, I'm saying that those are very serious allegations, and he needs to have some pretty substantial evidence to support that statement.
Thank you, Yusek.
Okay, thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Thank you, former Senate President Aquilino Nene Pimentel. Thank you, Malacañang Press Corps. Back to our main studio, Radyo Pilipinas and PTV.